The unexpected arrival. The celebration hall aboard the Zeltharian flagship Sovereign's Pride buzzed with excitement. Admiral Korath stood before the massive viewport, watching the captured enemy vessels being towed away like trophies. The Outer Rim Rebellion had finally been crushed after 3 years of brutal warfare. His gray-scaled hands clasped behind his back, the veteran commander allowed himself a rare moment of satisfaction. "Admiral, the victory feast is ready," announced his aide, a young officer whose blue ceremonial robes marked him as part of the elite guard. The Zeltharian Empire had expanded its territory by 12 systems in the past month, and Emperor Zolthan himself had sent personal congratulations. Korath nodded slowly, his yellow eyes reflecting the distant stars. The Empire had grown stronger than ever before. Their energy weapons could slice through any known armor, their shields could deflect the most powerful attacks, and their ships moved faster than anything else in the galaxy. No species had ever challenged Zeltharian supremacy and lived to tell about it. "Sir," called Tactical Officer Vrex from his station, his voice carrying a note of confusion. "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from Sector 7 Alpha. Something is disturbing the hyperspace lanes." The Admiral turned from the viewport, his celebration mood shifting to military alertness. In 40 years of service, he had learned to trust his officers' instincts. "Show me the readings." The main display flickered to life, showing a 3-dimensional map of local space. A pulsing red dot appeared at the edge of their sensor range, growing brighter by the second. The energy signature was unlike anything in their databases. "It's getting stronger, sir," Vrex reported, his clawed fingers dancing across his console. "The distortion is massive. Whatever's coming through is big." Korath felt his chest tighten. The celebration would have to wait. "Alert all vessels. Battle stations. Cancel the victory ceremonies." Across the fleet, alarms began to sound. The 12 remaining Zeltharian warships formed a defensive formation, their sleek hulls gleaming under the light of the nearby star. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, armed with weapons that could crack planets and protected by shields that had never been breached. The space in front of them began to twist and bend. Reality itself seemed to fold like paper, creating a hole in the fabric of the universe. Energy poured out in colors that had no names, and the very air inside the ships grew thick with static electricity. "By the ancestors," whispered Vrex, his voice barely audible over the alarms. What kind of technology could do this? The tear in space grew wider, edges crackling with impossible lightning. Then, through the opening, came something that made every Zeltharian in the fleet stare in disbelief. It was a ship, but not like any ship they had ever seen. Where Zeltharian vessels were elegant and flowing, this craft was angular and brutal. Its hull was dark metal, scarred by countless battles, with weapon ports covering every surface. Strange symbols were painted along its sides, and it moved with a confidence that spoke of veteran crews and tested systems. The vessel was enormous, nearly as large as Admiral Korath's flagship, but it moved with deadly grace. Energy readings showed power levels that should have been impossible. Its weapons were active but not yet aimed, suggesting its crew was cautious but prepared for anything. "Run full scans," Korath ordered, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "I want to know everything about that ship." The science officer's hands flew over his controls, gathering data as fast as the sensors could process it. "Sir, the readings are impossible. That ship is using technology we don't understand. Its power source is unlike anything in our databases. And, sir, it's broadcasting signals." "What kind of signals?" "Communication attempts, I think. But the language is completely unknown. Our computers can't translate any of it." Korath studied the alien vessel on his screen. Its design spoke of a species that had learned to fight in harsh conditions. Every line of the ship suggested efficiency and durability over beauty. These were not creatures who had grown soft in peaceful times. "Open a channel," he decided. "All frequencies. Let's see if we can establish contact." The communications officer nodded, and began broadcasting on every known frequency. Mathematical sequences, prime numbers, basic physics constants, anything that might establish a foundation for communication. For several minutes, nothing happened. The alien ship held its position, neither advancing nor retreating. Then suddenly, their console lit up with incoming signals. "Sir," they're responding. "The signals are complex, but I think I can detect patterns." They're trying to communicate. For several minutes, nothing happened. The alien ship held its position, neither advancing nor retreating. Then suddenly, their console lit up with incoming signals. "Sir," they're responding. "The signals are complex, but I think I can detect patterns." They're trying to communicate. Dr. Elena Rodriguez sat at her station aboard the human vessel Crimson Dawn, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface as she analyzed the alien transmissions. The xenobiologist had spent years studying theoretical first contact scenarios, but nothing had prepared her for the reality. "Captain Chen," she called to the bridge, "I'm detecting mathematical patterns in their signals. They're using prime numbers and geometric sequences, standard first contact protocols." Captain Sarah Chen studied the tactical display from her command chair. 12 alien warships surrounded her vessel, their weapons powered but not yet targeted. The situation was tense, but not yet hostile. Her ship had jumped into this system by accident, fleeing from a harvester invasion that had devastated the outer colonies. "Any luck with translation?" she asked. "Working on it, Captain. Their mathematical base seems to be different from ours, but I'm building a foundation. Give me another hour, and I might have basic communication." Chen nodded, her experienced eyes never leaving the tactical display. The alien ships were beautiful in a way that human vessels never were. All curves and elegant lines, they looked more like works of art than instruments of war. But their weapons readings were definitely real, and definitely dangerous. "Dr. Rodriguez, while you work on communication, I want you to analyze their ship designs. What can you tell me about the species that built them?" Elena pulled up the sensor data on a secondary screen. "Fascinating, Captain. Their technology appears to be based on different principles than ours. Everything is optimized for efficiency and beauty. I guess they come from a stable region of space where resources are abundant and conflicts are rare. Which makes us very strange to them," Chen mused. The Crimson Dawn was a human-heavy cruiser, built in the shipyards of New Terra during the desperate years of the Harvester War. Every plate of armor had been shaped for maximum protection, every weapon system designed for devastating firepower. It was ugly, practical, and deadly effective. The breakthrough came when Elena transmitted a simple star chart showing their current position. The aliens responded immediately with their own chart of the same region. Within minutes, both sides had established basic mathematical communication. The first real message that crossed the void between the fleets was simple but profound. "Who are you?" Admiral Korath read the translation with growing amazement. The aliens called themselves humans, and they claimed to come from the Galactic Core region. According to their star charts, their homeworlds were located in areas of space that the Zeltharians had always considered uninhabitable. "This can't be right," he told his science officer. "The radiation levels in that region would sterilize any planet. The gravitational forces would tear apart anything larger than an asteroid." "The readings confirm it, sir. They really do come from the core region. But look at this analysis of their ship's construction. Their technology is designed to survive conditions that would destroy our best vessels." Korath studied the data with growing respect. These humans had evolved in one of the most dangerous regions of the galaxy, a place where only the strongest could survive. No wonder their ship looked like it had been built for war. As the hours passed and communication improved, both sides began to learn more about each other. The humans shared stories of their struggle against the harvesters, mechanical beings that consumed entire worlds. The Zeltharians spoke of their empire, built on cooperation and shared prosperity. "Captain," Dr. Rodriguez called from her station, "I think you need to see this. The aliens are showing us their territorial maps. Their empire is massive, hundreds of systems, but look at the outer borders. Chen studied the holographic display, her trained eye picking out the details. Those are attack patterns, she said quietly. Someone's been hitting their frontier worlds. The timing, the locations, it's all too organized to be random piracy. Should we tell them? Chen was quiet for a long moment, thinking. The humans had come here by accident, fleeing from their own war. These aliens had every right to see them as invaders. But if her analysis was correct, they were all facing a greater threat. Open a channel to their flagship, she decided. It's time for some uncomfortable truths. The message that Captain Chen sent to Admiral Korath was brief but terrifying. You are under attack. The patterns match what we've seen before. The harvesters are coming. Unlikely allies. Admiral Korath stared at the human captain's message, his blood running cold. The harvesters. He had heard whispers of them from deep space traders and frontier scouts, but he had dismissed them as legend. Mechanical beings that consumed entire worlds, leaving nothing but empty space in their wake. Show me your evidence, he transmitted back. Captain Chen's response came with detailed tactical analyses, star charts showing the systematic destruction of human colonies, battle recordings of impossible machines that seemed to repair themselves faster than they could be damaged, sensor logs of entire planets being dismantled and consumed. By the ancestors, whispered Tactical Officer Vrex as he studied the data. Sir, if these humans are telling the truth, we're facing something beyond our understanding. Korath nodded grimly. The attack patterns on the Empire's outer borders matched the human data perfectly. Ships disappearing without distress calls, colonies going silent overnight, strange energy signatures that appeared just before worlds went dark. Captain Chen, he transmitted, we need to talk. In person. The meeting took place aboard a neutral space station at the edge of the system. Admiral Korath brought his best tactical officers and xenobiologists. Captain Chen arrived with Dr. Rodriguez and her chief engineer, a weathered man named Marcus Webb, who had seen more battles than most soldiers. When the two groups first met face to face, both sides stopped and stared. The Zeltharians were tall and graceful, with scaled skin that shimmered in the artificial light. Their movements were precise and elegant, like dancers. The humans were shorter but broader, with scars and calluses that spoke of hard lives and harder choices. You look like warriors, Admiral Korath observed, studying the human delegation with curious eyes. We've had to be, Captain Chen replied simply. Our part of the galaxy doesn't give you much choice. Dr. Rodriguez had prepared translation software that allowed both sides to communicate more easily. As they talked, the scope of the threat became clear. The harvesters weren't just attacking human space or the Zeltharian Empire. They were moving through the galaxy like a plague, consuming everything in their path. How do you fight them? Admiral Korath asked. Marcus Webb, the human engineer, leaned forward. You don't fight them straight up. They adapt too fast. Every weapon you use against them, they learn to counter within hours. You have to be unpredictable. Hit and run. Change your tactics constantly. That's not how we fight, admitted Vrex. Zeltharian military doctrine is based on overwhelming force and superior technology, which is exactly what they'll expect, Chen said, and exactly what they'll be prepared for. As they shared information, both sides began to understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. The Zeltharians had incredible technology and vast resources. Their energy weapons were more powerful than anything humans had built, and their ships were marvels of engineering. But they had grown used to easy victories against less advanced species. The humans had something else entirely. They had learned to fight against impossible odds, to win battles through cunning and desperation. Every human ship was designed to take damage and keep fighting. Every human weapon was built to work even when everything else failed. We need each other, Dr. Rodriguez said quietly. Your technology and our experience. Separately, we'll both lose. Together, we might have a chance. The debate that followed was intense. Many Zeltharians saw the humans as primitive barbarians who would corrupt their elegant society. Many humans saw the Zeltharians as soft aristocrats who had never faced real hardship. But the threat of the harvesters was greater than any cultural divide. The first joint operation was a disaster. Zeltharian ships moved in perfect formation, following ancient battle protocols. Human ships scattered and attacked from unexpected angles, ignoring orders and improvising constantly. The two fleets nearly collided with each other before they ever reached the enemy. "This isn't working," growled Marcus Webb after the failed exercise. "Your people fight like they're performing a ballet. Our people fight like they're in a bar brawl." Admiral Koreth was equally frustrated. "Your crews don't follow orders. How can we coordinate an attack if everyone does whatever they want?" Captain Chen stepped between them. "We're thinking about this wrong. We don't need to fight the same way. We need to fight in a way that confuses the enemy." The solution came from an unexpected source. Dr. Rodriguez had been studying both fleets' tactical data when she noticed something interesting. The harvesters always adapted to whatever strategy they faced, but they took time to analyze and counter new tactics. If the combined fleet could present them with completely contradictory strategies simultaneously, it might buy them precious time. "What if we don't coordinate?" she suggested. "What if we do the opposite? Let the Zeltharians fight their way, all elegant and precise. But at the same time, let the humans fight their way, all chaos and improvisation. The harvesters won't know which pattern to adapt to first." The idea was crazy enough that it might work. The Zeltharian fleet would engage the enemy in a traditional formation, drawing their attention and forcing them to adapt to sophisticated tactics. Meanwhile, the human ships would attack from completely different angles, using unpredictable strategies that made no logical sense. The test came sooner than anyone expected. Long-range sensors detected a harvester scouting force approaching the system. 3 massive vessels, each one larger than anything in either fleet, accompanied by dozens of smaller craft that seemed to shift and change as they moved. "Remember," Captain Chen broadcast to both fleets, "we're not trying to destroy them. We're trying to buy time for our people to evacuate. Hit them hard, hurt them if you can, but don't get trapped." The battle began with the Zeltharian fleet advancing in perfect formation, their energy weapons creating a wall of destructive force. The harvester ships responded exactly as expected, adapting their shields and adjusting their tactics to counter the sophisticated attack patterns. Then the human ships struck from 3 different directions at once, using tactics that made no sense to anyone watching. One ship flew straight at the enemy flagship, firing wildly, and then diving away at the last second. Another launched all its missiles at empty space, only to detonate them when enemy fighters flew through the area. A third actually rammed a harvester vessel, using its armored hull as a weapon. The harvesters had no idea how to respond. Their artificial intelligence could analyze and counter logical strategies, but it couldn't predict pure human craziness. While they were trying to adapt to the human chaos, the Zeltharian fleet hit them with precisely coordinated strikes that exploited the confusion. "It's working," shouted Dr. Rodriguez as she watched the battle unfold. "They can't adapt to both strategies at once." The combined fleet fought for 3 hours, using every trick and desperate measure they could think of. Human engineers worked alongside Zeltharian technicians to keep damaged ships fighting. Zeltharian energy weapons powered human projectile systems. Human armor protected Zeltharian shield generators. When the battle was over, the harvester scouting force had been destroyed, but both fleets had paid a heavy price. Ships were damaged, crews were exhausted, and everyone knew this was just the beginning. "We did it," Admiral Korath said as he met with Captain Chen after the battle. "We actually did it." "This time," Chen replied. "But they'll be back. And next time, they'll be ready for our tricks." "Then we'll have to come up with new tricks," said Dr. Rodriguez, "and we'll have to do it together." The alliance that was born in that battle would change both species forever. The Zeltharians learned that strength could come from adversity, that sometimes the best solution was the one that made no sense. The humans learned that cooperation could be more powerful than competition, that elegant solutions could be as effective as brute force. Together, they would face the harvester threat. Together, they would protect their worlds and their people. And together, they would prove that sometimes the most unlikely alliances create the greatest victories. The message that went out to both human and Zeltharian space was simple. We stand together. We fight together. We survive together. The war against the harvesters was far from over, but for the first time in years, both species had hope. They had found allies in the most unexpected place, and they had learned that differences in strength could become strengths when shared. In the cold vacuum of space, two fleets began the long journey home, carrying with them the seeds of a friendship that would span the galaxy.